Let's get salty!
Everyone, Zeddy here again today with a brand new video, and now we have the official release of all the brand new cards, the new keyword, a returning keyword, a brand new tribe, all coming with the brand new expansion, The Great Dark Beyond, which will go live on November 5th. So just under a month from now. We got card reviews for like the next 2 weeks straight. There's also patch notes drop right now. We'll have a video on that in a couple of hours, but spoiler alert, Prince Renethal is back in standard right now. That's right. They did it. They're madmen. I love them. As well as there's going to be early access events. There's going to be a lot of cool stuff they've never done before. We'll have a video on that in a couple of hours. But today, with this video right now, we're going to review a bunch of new cards, going over, again, the new keyword, tribe, all that good stuff. We also have our giveaway going on for 2 regular pre-orders, 1 mega bundle, which will be all out of my pocket. To enter that giveaway, like and comment in the video, link in the description below, the one review from earlier today, the one with that thumbnail. Be subscribed to the channel. Every 1,000 subs we get until all the cards are revealed, I will add another mega bundle. There's no limit on that, so hit that sub button, make me go baroque. So let's start off with the free legendary, which is live right now in Hearthstone. You want to try it out. The Nexus Prince Shafar, a 3-mana, 3/3 neutral legendary. And hey, we have a returning keyword, Spellburst. Give a minion in your hand +3/+3, and this Spellburst. So you play this on 3, you can just, I don't know, backstab in rogue or prep. It's always a rogue. You can do that. You hand buff a minion in your hand and it gains that Spellburst, and that could continue infinitely as long as you have the spells and the minions to keep doing that. It doesn't seem super powerful to me. Typically these like chaining hand buff cards, which we've seen like in dragons and stuff like that, have not been particularly amazing, but the effect is pretty easy to get off. And with hand buff decks in particular, you could be looking at some pretty good stuff. I'm looking at like Death Knight and Warrior, which like to hand, I guess Paladin too, although their hand buff decks don't run many spells these days. It's certainly something to look out for. Doesn't look as meta-defining as some of these other early legendaries like, well, Prince Renethal or a Marin the Manager, but it certainly has some validity, and the artwork in this set is so good. It just looks amazing. I'm gonna give it a 3 because it's an early free legendary. Almost every one of them has seen play in some regard, but I'm probably overrating this one, to be honest. But we'll find out. It's live right now, so we won't have to wait long to see how good it is. In Wild, it's like most wild cards, probably too slow and situational. We'll give it a 2, but hey, we're off to a pretty good start. But next, let's take a look at the new keyword, which is a huge theme of this expansion. It's a space-based expansion. So hey, we have Starship cards, starting off with the Dimensional Core, a 3-mana 3/2 Divine Shield minion, and it's a Starship piece. And the main keyword of this expansion is Starship, which I believe 5 classes will have their own unique Starship cards. But if you want to play a Starship in a neutral class, you can, or in the other classes, using neutral cards like this. So what does that mean? So basically it's like a death rattle. When this dies, it will create this dormant pod on the board and give it its stats. So it's a 3/2, it'll give it that, and the text on the card. So it's got Divine Shield. If you buff this on the board or like hand buff it, it will not retain the stats. It's purely the base stats of the card. Once that spaceship's on the board, it takes a board space, it's dormant, and you can launch it for 5 mana. I'll show a video to try and make it a little bit more straightforward. So yeah, as you can see, you can kind of resummon this for 5 mana. It's not great in that way, but every Starship piece minion or whatever dies will add to that. So it'll get bigger and larger, get more effects and all that stuff, which again, the only way to interact with this, by the way, is Reno. It's the only thing that can like poof this. Other than that, it's something your opponent can't deal with until it's summoned, and then they Yogg it, or they Ruska it, or they Reverb it, or they Deep Freeze it, and try to play a big minion in today's game. It'll be an interesting thing to see if this can work out. But again, these cards will have effects and things you can do. So yeah, you can launch it for 5 mana. I have no idea how this will play out. I feel like this is the worst time in Hearthstone history to try and build something giant to do something, right? But it's going to probably have pretty immediate effects. You'll see with some of the effects we'll go over later that this will probably see play. I don't know if this Starship piece will in general. I'll give it a 3 because, I mean, why not give it Divine Shield and some stats? Ramp up that Starship, that could be nice. But overall, it's going to be a really, really hard keyword to evaluate without knowing the other Starship pieces and just generally how this mechanic's going to feel. It's extremely unique. So give it a 3 in standard, a 2 in wild for the usual slow, awkward, clunky. I don't think it could really happen. But we do have one more neutral star piece here, which looks very strong. The Arcanite Defense Crystal. It is a 4 mana 3/4 taunt. So not amazing, but you get Death Rattle. Gain 6 armor. That's a lot of armor. Plus, when you launch your Starship for 5 mana, you get that armor again, and it's got Taunted, maybe Divine Shield and other stuff, right? So you just emerge like 2 minions. That's really good. You play the 3-drop on 3, it dies. You play this on 4, it dies. You can just get a pretty big taunt with Death Rattle. But that's not even that bad for 5 mana, right? So this one right here feels like it's a pretty good piece just to keep you to help stay alive, and then also give your Starship another way to help keep you stay alive. So that seems pretty solid. I'll give it a 4 for that reason. I think this is probably more of a core Starship piece for those decks. And yeah, armor, taunt, pretty good stuff. So we'll give it a 4 out of 5 in standard. And again, a 2 out of 5 in wild. We mentioned a new tribe, and here it is, the Draenei tribe. I don't know if that's how you pronounce it. Draenei, I don't know. We'll find out. I didn't watch the trailer yet or anything, so we'll see. I'll probably have to change the pronunciation as we go along. But it is a 1 mana 2/1 minion, so there's going to be synergies with other Draenei tribes, and you got the old N'Zoth from Wild. You can resummon it and all that stuff. It factors into all that cool, you know, tribal stuff. If you're one amalgam band in another way. Anyways, Battlecry, the next Draenei you play gains +2/+1. So 1 mana 2/1, pretty crap, doesn't really do anything. It'll eventually buff something else, and unless there's something very specific synergy-wise with this, I cannot see this being a very great card. But again, it doesn't have to be this turn you play, it can be later, and it really depends on what, you know, the Draenei cards are, and is it have rush or something, or, you know, charge somehow, and I really can take advantage of that. Overall though, a 1 mana 2/1 typically is not good enough unless it's got a pretty crazy effect, and typically this style effect isn't that strong. So I'll give it a 2 out of 5 in standard, a 1 out of 5 in wild. But hey, our first new tribe, I believe since Quillbore. It's been a while, so look out for the next BG's update. I have a feeling they're going to be getting this pretty darn soon. Back to the Starship pieces. Druid will be one of the Starship classes. They didn't get Excavate, so they're getting Starships. And we have the Starlight Reactor, a 3 mana 3/3 minion. After you cast an arcane spell, you recast it. Targets chosen randomly. So this basically probably has to get killed on the board. There's not that many arcane spells right now for Druid. We'll see one in a second that they can use. But again, anything that could snowball like this absolutely means auto kill. But hey, they kill it, it goes to your Starship. And when you launch it, then hey, I can cast some spells to go alongside with it, get some immediate value. And I feel like that's going to be a pretty darn good thing. I'm giving it a 3 out of 5 in standard, a 2 out of 5 in wild. I don't see Starship stuff working in formats where I'm literally getting OTK'd on turn 2. That could happen, but still, it's a really crazy mechanic. Someone's gonna be really hard to evaluate, and it's kind of cool. The Starship classes get their own unique Starship token, so they get the Celestial Archive for Druid. They'll also get a legendary card to work with it, the Exarch Othar, a 4 mana 3/3 Draenei. Battlecry, if you're building a Starship, so you've had one Starship piece die, it's got that dormant thing going, get 3 different arcane spells and reduce their cost by 2. And just to clarify again, what Starship stuff looks like, here you go. Again, that's kind of the visual, the video of it, and that seems pretty darn powerful. Getting 3 different spells for 4 mana, minus 6 mana, and all you have had to have done is have a Starship pod on the board. That seems pretty insane. Mass mana cheat, as I love, and those arcane spells can come from any class, right? It doesn't say druid or anything like that, so who knows? It's more random, more mana cheat, more insanity. You know, everything I absolutely love, and you can play it in Druid, everybody's favorite class. I'm nearing 10k Druid wins. Maybe this card could help me get there. I'm gonna give it a 4 to 5 in standard. It's a lot of value, it's a lot of mana cheat, it's a lot to look out for. Plus we got the new tribe on there. Yeah, I think it could be pretty darn good. And in Wild, I'll give it a 2, because again, I think it's too slow. And the arcade spells could vary a heck of a lot more there. I feel like a smaller pool will definitely be more beneficial in standard. And hey, let's take a look at one of these arcane spells for Druid. The Distress Signal, a 4 mana arcane spell. You summon 2 random 2-cost minions, refresh 2 mana crystals. So if you get this for 2 less, you basically just get this for free. Free mana cheat, random. I love it. It's crazy. It's like everything I can't stand these days. But yes, is that a strong effect? Yeah, 4 mana get, or basically 2 mana get 2 random minions, and you have synergies with like your 3-drop, which can recast this. You get the 4 drops and all of that. You probably saw that video teaser a second ago. So early spoilers in my own video. But regardless, yeah, seems pretty decent. Tempo option. Again, Druid likes to spam tokens and get stuff on the board. I'll give it a 3. I could see this seeing play. And if it's not going to see play, they're going to randomly get it from their legendary anyways. And in Wild, I'll give it a 2. Although Doomsayer is pretty funny in either format. Doomsayer is in standard. So yeah, look out for that. But yeah, random and mana cheat. Stuff I just absolutely love. And Mage getting some major Draenei synergies here with the Ingenious Artificer, a new Draenei card, 5 mana 4/6, Battle Cry. The next Draenei you play refreshes mana crystals equal to its attack. So if it has like 10 attack, you'll get 10 mana back. It'll be like for free on full mana. So, or just play this card itself and you get 4 mana back. It's like 1 mana. More mana cheat, what we need. But this is definitely unique. Definitely something you can only, you know, build and abuse with either amalgams or Draenei cards. And we'll see a card in a second that it looks like it's literally designed for this to be, you know, to work with that. And yeah, I'll give it a 3. It's mana cheat. It's something that they're probably going to force to work with a brand new tribe and archetype. And again, I'm going to keep saying it. Love the artwork on the card. And in Wild, I'll give it a 2 because it's too slow, even for mana cheat. But hey, you never know. And the thing to go with it here, another Mage Draenei, the Archwing Pilot, a 7 mana 4/3 Draenei. At the end of your turn, deal 3 damage to a random enemy. Spellburst, summon an Archwing Pilot. So you can play your 5-drop, then play this for 7. It'll refresh for 4, play a spell, get an Archwing Pilot, play another spell, and you keep getting more Archwing Pilots, and then you can deal like mass damage to either an enemy minion or to the face or whatever, right? That could be good. That could be pretty crazy. It's very build-aroundy and still kind of clunky and awkward and expensive. And at the end of the day, you're only dealing 3 damage to 1 random enemy. Even if you get a full board, it's at the end of your turn, right? So you have to wait. The most you can do is 7 times 3 is 21. Still a lot, but you'd have to really work for it. Seems kind of really awkward and slow. But again, maybe there'll be more cards that make more sense of it. As it stands now, I'm gonna give it a 2 out of 5 in standard, a 2 out of 5 in Wild, and probably one I will absolutely regret when we see more Mage cards like, oh yeah, they're brute forcing this. It's absolutely insane. Warlock is getting a new Elemental, a 2 mana 2/3, the Foreboding Flame. Again, love the artwork. Battle Cry, demons that didn't start in your deck cost 1 less this game. So yeah, you randomly generate or create in any other ways demons to add to your hand. You get a bit of mana cheat. That doesn't seem amazing. I have a feeling we'll see more cards along the way for Warlock that will make more sense of it. But as it stands right now, I mean, it's 2 mana, 2/3. Get a bunch of mana cheap. That could be all right, I guess. That's fine. But I'm going to give it a 2 out of 5 in standard, a 1 in wild. I just, yeah, don't really see it. Even though it's premium stats, a tribe, tons of upside, that's just not enough in today's game unless it's like makes absolute sense to see play. Next, we have, again, amazing looking card for Warlock, the Black Hole at 8 mana, Shadow Spell, destroy all minions except demons. So you're like, wait, isn't that worse than Twisting Nether? Well, no, if your board's full of demons, then you're just clearing your opponent's board. That's great. Unless, of course, they're playing demons. That'd be funny. 8 mana, do nothing on a full board. It's like 14 minions. They're all demons. This does absolutely nothing. But they're obviously pushing some kind of crazy demon warlock. We'll have to see more of it as we go along. But again, artwork, 5 out of 5. Card, 8 mana, clear the board. Man, that's really slow in today's game. Like Twisting Nether could probably go to 7 and see no play in today's game the way it is. So I'm gonna give it a 2 unless that demon package is absolutely crazy. I don't see it happening. And then wild, a 1, because again, it like 8 mana, lol, that's just not gonna happen. However, we do have a nice big demon payoff. The Archimond, I don't know, but he's a 7 mana, 7/7 warlock legendary demon. Battle Cry, summon every demon you played this game that didn't start in your deck. So it's not summoned, you have to have played it from in your hand and then you'll summon it. So I don't know how you're gonna really do that so well. Again, we'll have to see cards that can create demons like reasonably well, but you gotta create it. It can't be from your own deck and you have to play it on top of that. Seems kind of just, I don't know. We're gonna have to see more cards for this to make sense, but if it's reasonable to like get a couple of big giant taunts or doom guards or something like that, this card's insane, right? Because the battle cry, it's not like a death rattle. You get those demons that could be proactive. That could be pretty nuts. I just think, again, we need to see the full picture on this one to get a better idea of it. So on power potential, I'm gonna give it a 4 because this can be an absolute archetype defining, meta defining card. It's just, we need more information, but we're reviewing early. So we're gonna go with that. In wild, again, you got a lot of crazy demons and philosophy and stuff like that to create more demons and do some pretty cool stuff, but it's very slow in a really crazy format where you're playing the demon seed and things like that. We'll give it a 2. Can't really see it happening there. Speaking of demons, we have the Relentless Wrathguard, a 3 mana 4/2 demon. Battle Cry, deal 2 damage to an enemy minion. If it dies, discover a demon. So there you go. It's a way to find some demons to play, to add to all this, to get mana cheated. Not too bad. Unfortunately, only an enemy minion. You can't kill off your own stuff to do that, which can be very relevant. In particular, this seems like a warlock card to me, but you can play it in other classes. I guess like Demon Hunter likes to get more demons and stuff too, but probably too slow there. Although again, Window Shopper, another kind of nerf to the card, but yeah, maybe it goes into that warlock deck. That's probably about it. I'll give it a 2 out of 5 in standard, a 2 out of 5 in wild, but again, that warlock deck, I really hope that does work because big demons are really freaking rad. And then the last card we have to review, another neutral legendary, the Return of Velen, Leader of the Exiled, a 7 mana 7/7 Draenei. It has Taunt and Death Rattle, trigger the battle cries and death rattles of all other Draenei you played this game. So yeah, that could be a ton of value on battle cries, death rattles, and we got a video to preview this one. Looks like a pretty darn good effect. I mean, we're gonna have to wait and see more Draenei's as we go along, but the fact it's neutral, the death rattle can be abused by certain classes as well. I'm looking at like Hunter or Warlock. They absolutely can do that. Death Knight, there's some absolute potential for this card, and I can just think of like Death Growl and the Adaptive Amalgam and like attaching it to this. That can be pretty crazy. And by the way, that's a Draenei too, the Adaptive Amalgam. Who knows what shenanigans can occur with that? So look out for this. I'll give it a 4 out of 5. I think it has potential. Again, it's hard to evaluate without knowing more cards, but 4 out of 5 in standard, 2 out of 5 in wild, and I think that is all the cards for now. That's a lot to digest, a lot of cards to possibly win in the giveaway, so get in there if you haven't. Again, we'll have patch notes to go over, and we'll do that in a couple of hours, and then there's one more card reveal later today, which, believe me, we're going to do a video on, because it is something we have literally never seen before. It's hilarious. Anyways, if you enjoyed the video, please like and subscribe. Have a great day and stay salty, my friends.